Hey guys, it's Mark from Soul Adventure. Just wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about two tools that I use all the time when I'm tuning my bows, the Bowsmith and the Toolio, both from real Avid. So let's take a look at the Toolio first. Alright, so the Toolio is basically a set of hex wrenches, but in a whole new design. So here's the handle, comes off this nice clip and case. Inside we have 10 hex bits. You can see there's 6. The first 4 are actually reversible, so 2 bits on each end, and then the last 2 just a single bit. So each one can fit inside the handle. The handle is a standard 1/4 inch drive, so even if you didn't want to use the bits included, say you had a specialty bit such as like a Torx that you needed to use, you could certainly do that. But in general, the hex heads included, they pretty much work with everything on my bow. I know that, I've bought standard Allen wrench sets from the hardware store before, but it seems like in those sets there's always something that, doesn't work on my bow, or I need a wrench that's not included. I found that with the Toolio, everything I need is there. So the bits, you can see, maybe you can't see actually in the video, the sizes are marked for each end, and then you see this bearing in the middle that helps it just snap in place. So snaps in nice and secure, but also easy to remove. Of course, reversible. If you wanted to, you could have 2 in at the same time, so you're working on your rest and then your bow sight. And then the handle is just really nice and ergonomic, so you can really get a feel for the tension and the torque that you're putting on the screws as you're tightening them down. So I use this thing constantly to make, adjustments to my sight or my rest or my bow's poundage, anything like that. So that is the Toolio from Real Avid. Next up is the Bowsmith. So the Bowsmith is basically a multi-tool, kind of like a Leatherman or something of the sort, but every tool within the Bowsmith is built specifically and designed specifically for archers and bow hunters to work on their bow or arrows, any of our equipment. So the Bowsmith is 28 tools in one. We can take a look at that. I'm not really going to cover everything because it would take quite some time, but let's briefly dive into it. First, we have a knife, just a standard blade, always handy to have, of course. Next, this guy here, it's a threaded driver. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but that threaded driver is really nice. This guy here is a double-sided file, so on this end it's, sort of your standard metal file. On this end, it's a ceramic insert, so you could actually use this to touch up broadheads and sharpen broadheads. Really, really nice to have for in the field. And then on this end here, this is a vein stripper, so if you wanted to remove fletchings from your arrows, this makes it super easy to do that without damaging your arrow, whether that's carbon or aluminum. Next up, this guy serves a bunch of purposes. This insert here is a broadhead wrench, so whether you have a 2, a 3 blade, or a 4 blade broadhead, this should take care of that for you. And then you can see this sort of threads down to a point, but it's not sharp, so this is actually to insert into your bow's string. It's a string separator, so you can insert this, come down to this point here just beyond the broadhead wrench. It's nice and rounded, and that's where you can actually begin to make a turn and separate those bow strings and get a nice gap to maybe install a silencer or a peep sight. On the opposite end, we have this tool here. It's not quite a blade, not quite sharp, but definitely sharper than the string splitter we just talked about. This is really handy to use for starting tree steps or a bow hanger. If you get climb up in your tree stand and want to hang a bow hanger, this makes it really easy to get that threaded started for you. On this end, we have a standard bit driver. Excuse the noise. A standard bit driver on this end, and so just like the threaded bit driver we talked about on the other end, you can use that with the included accessories. So the Bowsmith is going to come in this nice pouch it fits in. As you can see, we have some drivers here. So we have a screwdriver as well as some hex bits, Allen heads. So you can use those in that driver. There's also another accessory tube with a few nice tools in it. Let's see if I can pop this guy open. Alright, so we have a brush, and this goes back to the threaded driver we talked about, a brush, so is really nice for cleaning out the inside of your arrows. Say you're going to install new inserts or new nocks, you can get the inside of your arrows nice and clean. And then this guy screws in. This is actually an insert extractor. So you can screw one end to the Bowsmith, screw the other end into your insert just like you would an arrow, get it heated up from the outside if you used a heat-based adhesive, and get those inserts out. And then obviously, you know, similar to like a Leatherman type design, the Bowsmith is going to fold out into pliers. Nice, as you can see, they are spring loaded. And then we have all kinds of machining within the pliers to do all kinds of tasks related to bows. So if you want to crimp a nock, you can do that. If you want to break a nock's hold, you can certainly do that. So you can use it as a nock separator and nock crimp. You can use this as a D-loop setter, so this nice smooth hole here, once you tie your D-loop on, you can grab a hold of it with that and then get your D-loop nice and tight. So 28 tools in one. The Real Avid Bowsmith is a great package, as well as the Toolio. Both tools are always in my bow case, in my pack most of the times actually, and have saved me several times in the field. So check those out if you are the type of guy who wants to work on your bow at any level. These tools from Real Avid will help you do it.